Welcome to the O'Connor Elder Law channel. I'm your host, Melissa O'Connor. I'm a Florida-based elder law attorney who does estate planning, focusing on long-term care needs, commonly referred to as Medicaid planning, and I do probate, and I do it well. Today I wanted to talk to you about the issue of independence and dignity while living with cognitive decline. But before I do, I wanted to invite you to schedule a free strategy session with me at eldermeeting.com. So a topic that comes up in my practice is when we know that we are have a disease or otherwise are aging and experiencing cognitive decline, or we know that our elderly parent or our loved one is experiencing this, and they need assistance with their affairs, but at the same time, we want to balance their need for dignity, right? Their need to be able to have independence, make decisions, even bad ones at times, or things that we might disagree with, but they are adamant about. And how do we handle these sorts of conflicts or communications when these issues arise? So normally what I start with is I make sure that the client who is the person, the elderly person, that they're my client, not their adult child, right? They're my client. I make sure that they fully understand and pick who they want to be their agent under their durable power of attorney, their healthcare surrogate. And if they have a trust with their assets in trust, many times at that juncture, when we know that we're experiencing cognitive decline or moments of unclarity, right? We have a conversation about adding a co-trustee, right? Somebody who serves as trustee with you with independent authority to act. So that way, if you are having a period of disorientation, somebody else is able to fully be handling your affairs with full independent authority to act. Where we come into problems is when we have these co-trustees. So you and your dad might be, trudging along, working great, working as a team, co-trustees on his trust, right? And then he starts to make some decisions that you don't agree with. You think those are bad calls, right? But he's pretty adamant that he thinks that those are the appropriate calls for his life. And now you have an issue. Is this due to the disease, the progression of one's disease? Is this due to cognitive decline, or is this just a difference of opinion as to how his money should be spent, handled, and moved, right? And so many times we have these really sometimes uncomfortable judgment calls, and conversations need to be had whether or not your loved one is making these decisions with regards for their monies and choices because they are confused or disoriented or don't remember that if they're buying multiple things of the same thing, okay, that's disorientation, right? But if they decided that they want to spend their money on something that you don't think is the wisest choice, that's just a money spending choice, right? And where they want to hold their money in a different account and not in the trust, but maybe in their individual banking account that you aren't the co-trustee of. So now they have a little bit more independence as to how they spend that money, right? That's just a personal choice. And that's not something that is due to any sort of decline. And these are tough conversations to have, but they're really important. They're really important to keep your lines of communication open, that you fully be respectful of one another and why each of you are taking the position that you are, and just to talk through it rather than asserting at that time that now, my dad's not fit, he needs to step down as co-trustee, he's not able to make these calls because he's making unwise decisions. And sometimes there are unwise decisions, and sometimes they are confusion, and sometimes it's just giving somebody the ability to spend their money how they so choose, even if it is not how you would spend it, because it is ultimately their funds, their life. And if they wanted that in that choice at their end of life, then then they should be able to be entitled to make whatever choices that they have. We don't have to protect each other from ourselves 100%, right? We are all adults doing the best we can. And so I think the key though for this is really to be respectful and have open lines of communication and come with understanding, patience, and love. And maybe they'll see your point of view and change the way that they decide to move their monies and how they want to handle their affairs as well. And so I just encourage you, as you know, we have these conversations, that you just come at it with a lot of empathy and patience and respect for one another and each other's roles. If this has been helpful, I ask that you like and share with others. And as always, thank you for joining me.